Hey y'all, you're listening to the What Would She Think podcast. I'm Dani.
And I'm Angie.
We're a mother and daughter duo, and we look forward to sharing the parallels on our life experiences.
Join us as we learn more about our views on how life has taken us on a wild ride.
This podcast is made to offer listeners a safe place to understand and discuss all the non-traditional new roles and breaking generational traumas. How we managed to turn our mother and daughter relationship from barely surviving
to thriving.
Love you.
Welcome into today's episode. We'll be discussing making permanent choices too young.
Babies, marriage, and tattoos. How young is too young?
Do you ever really know when you're ready?
Ooh, for babies.
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 What makes someone think they're ready for babies?
I think some things to think about are financial situations, house living situations.
What about healthy relationship situations?
Definitely a healthy relationship situation.
But do you think just because someone's young and they're in a healthy relationship that they should have a kid?
No. I think oh dang, hold on. I think you should enjoy being young, but...
Exactly.
But I don't think that you should, obviously, go and have a baby at, 15 because you have a good money situation, a good house situation, and a good relationship situation.
Okay, that's the golden question then. What do you think makes someone ready to have a kid?
I think you should want to be not done, but, far into your career life.
Accomplished yourself?
Accomplish some goals, have peace with yourself, because you can't have kids and not be mentally stable.
Well, I think what you're answering is when should somebody make a good choice, but I think there's plenty of people out there who have definitely made the choice to have a kid way before even thinking about any of that.
Yeah. Just baby fever.
There you go. That's the one, baby fever. So you see a cute baby.
Really strong.
You see a cute baby and you think, oh, I want one of those. Do you think babies stay babies and cute? And
I think that might have been what turned me away. Seeing Soph as a toddler and a kid and...
not be a tiny, cute little...
not be quiet, not
baby.
be cute.
She was a quiet baby.
She was really quiet. But they don't stay that way.
No, they don't. So, choosing to have babies young, guilty. So I had you, and I was
21?
21.
Yeah.
That's young.
That's really little.
I see 21-year-olds. I was like a baby. I see 21-year-olds and I think they're babies. Yeah, they are so adorable. Meaning babies, not 21-year-olds. Babies are so adorable, and you grow up playing with dolls. So you think, I know how to be a mommy. I can do this. This is easy. You grow up babysitting and you think, I can take care of a kid.
Babysitting is far different from
raising
it.
Oh, yeah.
Or not in the hard way. Well,
let
me clarify. I saw a little terrorism.
Terror, my love.
Oh, okay. I kept wanting to say a prism at the same time.
A terror prism?
A terror prism.
She's a terror prism.
A terror prism. And I saw that grow up. So.
Yeah. From a cute, adorable little baby that looked.
And I used to watch her. I watched her a lot.
You used to always want to hold her like a doll.
Literally.
She was cute and adorable, and then now she grew up into #Meanie Sophie Savage.
Are we able to plug Sophie's TikTok?
I mean, her videos are pretty funny.
They're really funny.
They're cute too. She's adorable. She's like she's our little doll. No. Okay. No. Okay.
She's mean.
Yeah.
She's like Chucky.
Oh my gosh.
She's not like a cute little American Girl doll.
She's not like...
She's Chucky.
Oh my gosh. She's not... What's that new movie?
Megan.
I would say Morgan.
Morgan?
I don't know who Morgan is.
If
Well,
she
y'all.
turned out like Megan, we'd have a lot to be concerned about.
Well, she already did the whole dance thing.
Oh my god. She turned into Wednesday.
She is totally was. She loves that dance. Okay, so back to babies. Enough of our baby. Okay, what do you think about choosing not to have kids?
So I've ran into this a little bit because I have had moments where I'm like, babies are completely off the table, not even an option.
Yeah, I've heard you go back and forth on
And
that.
I think it's just one being me indecisive, but
Mm-hmm.
also me being indecisive is also good because I still have many years to make that decision.
You can have many years before you have to make the decision. That's the
I
beauty of it.
don't have to make it now.
You don't have to, which is kind of the point of this whole conversation. You don't have to make permanent choices young. You can wait for these choices that are permanent to make them as you know later on in life when you
Yeah.
get more mature after you've lived your years and experiences to know which is the best choosing. There's many people like myself who chose to have babies very young,
Yeah.
like 21. That's a baby age. Yeah. I was young. But I have many friends who chose not to. Whether it was just, it turned out that, they grew older and they hadn't had babies and they decided, you know what, it's not for me, or, other circumstances. Many people go through many different stories and scenarios in their own life. But I think being able to make that decision for yourself is something that has really changed in society nowadays
Yeah.
because it wasn't always like that.
Before it was really you had to have a baby and get married and all that.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that keep asking people who are in their 30s, getting to their 40s, and when you haven't had kids, what are you waiting for? It's like,
Yeah.
well, do they really have to?
Yeah, and people are a lot more open now when that they don't want kids.
And it's not liking kids, it's knowing that you don't want to have kids. You don't want to have, if it's the pressure or the responsibility
Yeah.
or just not wanting to lose yourself, because as a mom I can tell you, whew, I have lost myself many times and am still trying to find myself because y'all are my priority.
Mhm.
Like, dad and I don't even get to go on dates because, I choose not to, leave you guys off with a stranger to babysit, or, um, you know, whatever the scenario is. Like, you guys are always top number one. I don't.
I mean, now that we're getting older,
It's getting easier,
it is.
but like Sophie's always been attached to my hip.
Yeah.
Literally. She is like my chicle. She will not leave my side. I think definitely it has changed how people are being more open,
And expressing how they feel about.
expressing how they feel about not wanting to have kids, and that's becoming more acceptable. It's
Yeah.
not one of those, random things, but I think it's because that's how we were raised. We were raised to be, you know, expected to have kids.
Mhm.
You're
No, I agree.
you're also expected to get married. This podcast is funded by buymeacoffee.com/twistofviolet.
With a membership, you will have access to exclusive content, behind the scenes, and a bonus video podcast a month.
So do you think we are raised to think that you have to get married?
You are. Because everyone's like, oh, ever since you're little, like everyone makes comments.
Do you think we put that pressure on ourselves when we're in our relationships to that's the next step?
Yeah. Like, that's always seen as, okay, we're doing this, we're gonna do this for a while. we'll see when the next big step is, and that big step that's usually next is marriage.
So do you think people might rush into that just because they've already been in that I'm in a healthy relationship time frame for a
Yeah.
couple of years, and you might think, okay, well, a couple of years, is anything going to change? Do you think it's because we don't feel that they're committed to us because they won't get married? Do you think you can be in a committed relationship and it be any different than a marriage? Or do you
I
think
think it can be the same. I mean, like a marriage
you're
isn't supposed to completely change your relationship.
you should already be committed to the person?
Yeah,
Because
it's just
you're
making it legal, I guess.
yeah, you're that's basically what you're doing.
That's
But
all you're
if you're
doing.
in a committed relationship, like why would we tell ourselves that we have to get married as the next step? Like we should enjoy it, right?
Yeah. You shouldn't want to be like, okay, how much more longer until the next big
So
step?
that's definitely two different things. I think that's that one, that fear of they're not committed to me because they don't want to marry me. But you technically, if you're in a committed relationship, you tell each other you're committed.
Yeah.
And then two, I think that comes from how we grow up thinking, well, you have to get married. When you're going to get married? You guys have been together for, 10 years. How have you not gotten married yet? It's like, well,
Yeah. I mean, take it slow, but, and like definitely, like, don't get married after like a year of dating, but it shouldn't be so rushed.
it shouldn't be rushed.
It should be, marriage should be like something fun to just add into the relationship, not completely change it. Did you ever feel rushed to get married at all?
No, but I think it was like what you're talking about, like that pressure of the next step. At that point, or when we decided to get married, we had already been dating for 6 years. He had already graduated, I had already been in college, and remember, I got married at 19.
Yeah,
That is young.
that's a baby.
But you think if you're already dating somebody for 6 years, then the next step is marriage,
Yeah.
right? We had graduated high school and I was in college, and then he was going to join the military. So the next step is, well, we're going to go off. You need to get married. Now,
No.
legally in the military, yes, we would have had to get married, but still think that was really young of
That
the
is
decision. 19 years old,
to
deciding to get
decide
married.
to tie the knot with someone for like,
And it was a very unhealthy relationship. And I just kept praying and hoping that things were going to change. He was going to change, that this was going to be what we needed. But no, I don't. I definitely know now that I was not at the right age to get married. Now, fast forward getting married to dad, I was a lot older.
mm-hmm. I think you were what, 30, 31?
31. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how old I am. Hold on. Let's do some math.
You are
Yep.
36.
I'm 36. I'll be 37 this year. So let's back it up. Yeah, 31.
31.
So definitely a different person than I was in my 20s or early 20s. I definitely matured a lot more and found myself in my later 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And as a mature adult, I think we were finally able to make that decision. I mean, because the initial goal when we started dating was the goal is marriage. So
Yeah.
we knew we were committed to each other as far as,
Like you didn't date just to date. And you made that clear right off the bat.
well, I mean, not, I mean, initially you date to date, but like
Yeah.
once we were in a
Once
relationship,
you guys were committed to each other, you made it clear that it was for marriage.
exactly. So that definitely changed. But so dad's always been one to like take our time and not rush into the things. We enjoy the steps as we're going through them. And I think that's one of the things that dad's very mature, but mature as in we were already in our late 20s. So the
Yeah.
maturity level of a person is a lot different than you are in your teens, early
Teens.
20s. Later 20s, 30s, your mind has already experienced enough adultness
Yeah.
to prepare yourself for the next phases of your life.
Yeah.
I think that's why when it comes to what age somebody should be to, get married, like what's the right age? I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why people always say like 25 to 30 because
You're in a different headspace than you are in your early teens.
yeah, it's okay to be in that headspace when you're in your late teens, early 20s
Yeah.
because that's the time that you're supposed to be in that headspace.
You're
You're not
young.
supposed to be concerned with having babies. You're not supposed to be concerned with getting married. You're not supposed to be any of that. Like your priority should be finding who you are.
Yeah. So, does it feel like did it feel like a priority?
Yeah. I mean, one, we're Mexican, so that's definitely always a priority in every conversation that you
Yeah.
have with family
Like
at
once
like
you're married, it's like, okay, when's the baby?
yeah. Or if you've been dating somebody for many years, the first
Yeah.
question people ask is, "Oh, when are you guys going to get married?"
Yeah, especially if it's been over like 3 years, maybe.
3 to 5 years, people expect you to
That's when the
already,
questions start happening.
yeah.
I go, when is he
When's
gonna
the
pop in?
wedding? When's
And
the wedding?
oh Lord.
Oh my goodness. But so I definitely remember growing up always wanting to get married. That was like the goal.
It's put into your head at such a young age. Personally, for me, getting young isn't completely off the table. It like isn't like an irrational idea. So
So you want to get married young.
I mean I wouldn't be mad. It's not necessarily like, oh, it's gonna happen at this um
Time
age
frame.
group time frame. Yeah, it's kind of just let what happens, and we're not necessarily like prioritizing it as in, okay, we're gonna date for this amount of time and then we're gonna get married. Like it's gonna happen when it happens.
So in your eyes, you're thinking more of if it were to happen young,
I would not be mad.
but you're not planning for it to happen young, you just wouldn't be against
I
it.
wouldn't be against it, but I also think that it would be a good idea to wait.
What do you think would be a good age group to wait to in your head? Like,
25.
you see? Because at that age group, people are thinking a lot different.
Yeah.
And it's not that you wouldn't get married. Okay, so our dear Catalina, you guys in your conversations already, idealize getting married in the
Older.
future, right?
Yeah.
Like your future selves will get married together.
Yeah.
So in your mind, because you're in a healthy relationship, you can see that as an okay scenario.
Yeah. Because it is so healthy and secure and there's a lot of respect.
Respect is such a huge factor.
Yeah. Especially when you get married to the person.
Yeah. You would think you would put that first on the list.
You think?
Somehow. Just kidding. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. So I think I grew up wanting to get married young because one, the idea is always put in your head. And then because you just think that's the next step. But I think you could still be in a committed relationship to a person that you love in a healthy relationship and still choose to wait and not get married young, right?
Yeah. But you still have that same
Committed
part.
is just
Yeah.
minus the legality of the certificate.
Yeah. That's the only thing missing. That should be the only thing missing if you are like love someone so much already and are already so committed to somebody, there should be no relationship difference. Obviously, you're going to have tiny ones, but
I'm kind of curious, what is one thing you want out of getting married?
getting married. Oh, I have a few things.
It's the top one that comes to your head.
Because I want my partner's last name.
Oh, you stinker. This podcast is funded by buymeacoffee.com/twistofviolet.
With a membership, you will have access to exclusive content, behind the scenes, and a bonus video podcast a month.
So you want to be a Mrs.
I do.
You're so cute.
Which is what I'll be saying.
So you were talking about you want to get married in your 20s because ideally, you think people would really understand that they're not the same person that they are in their teens and their 20s and in their 30s.
No, not at all.
But do you think we still make those decisions without really thinking we're going to change our minds because we're going to mature and grow up?
I think you have to be in the right headspace. And you might always like tell yourself like you're in the right headspace.
Yeah, we convince ourselves we're ready to make these decisions at a young age when we're totally not, because in hindsight, after the fact, we can look back and realize, oh, yeah, no, you didn't think about any of these things on the list. You only thought about babies. You only thought about marriage. You didn't think about everything else of the responsibility of it, right?
Yeah. No, completely.
It's just like tattoos and piercings. You, my dear, have talked about tattoos and piercings even before you turn 18, but I am holding you to waiting.
Yes.
I'm not against them.
Yeah, it's just you want me to be in the fault.
Well, no, one, you have to be legally the age.
Yeah.
But I also want you to really think about the ones that you choose to get because they are permanent, which is literally what we're talking about. Permanent decisions, young. So let's say tattoos. Okay, so I got one.
Yes. How old were you? You were 20, 30?
I was in my 20s. I was freshly divorced. So
I found out about that, I think, when you were 32, which is what makes me want to say that you were 30 when you got it.
No, I was...
That's just whenever I found out.
So, newly divorced, that was on my bucket list to do something for myself.
Yeah.
I got a tattoo.
That's a pretty big thing, though.
But, I mean...
It's great.
I was at the age where I could make that decision.
Yeah.
But I also got it in a place where it's not on my face. It's not somewhere where everybody can see, so it's for me.
It is only for you.
So do you think that my conversations with you about having you wait, where do you think my fear comes from?
You wish you would have waited?
No.
No?
For you.
For you don't want me to wish I had waited?
No, I don't want you to do something permanent that you're going to regret later.
I'm not going to do anything crazy.
Well, I mean, okay, so let's talk about the piercings. We've talked about the ear piercings.
There's some crazy piercings I used to want.
We're talking about the ear piercings. You have how many?
I have 4 total.
So 2 and 2?
2 and 2.
Okay, so right now you have 2. But you have talked about each, like, a birthday that you want another one.
I do.
You want another one.
I still do. I don't want to go through the pain of it. I would have rather go through the pain of it in the winter.
Oh my goodness.
You gotta time them right.
Okay, so do you understand why I want you to wait on the earrings? Do you remember that conversation we had?
Yeah.
Why? I'm so keeping that.
Don't. They're gonna know you starved me to death.
Starve you to death? It's like the middle of the night. You should be asleep.
I should.
Okay, so the damage that would be caused on your ears.
Yes, but I'm not gonna go out and get gauges where they have a permanent hole in my ear.
Okay, so think of your young teenage ear. Think how it will progressively age as you get older, and it might not look the same with that many piercings.
I don't think it will look the same, but I don't think it'll be like a gauge difference.
Well, have you seen old lady ears?
Have I? No, I haven't. I haven't seen old lady ears.
Uh-huh.
Why are you looking at old lady ears?
Don't look at my ears. Just kidding. No, but your mindset of how you feel about the permanent jewelry in your ears, about the permanent tattoos,
Yeah.
could, not saying that it definitely
Yeah.
will, but it definitely could change in the future.
Yeah.
Because your mindset right now as a teen and what you like and want can
As
definitely
a teen.
change.
Yeah.
Change as in your 20s and then in your 30s and then in future self. But
Yeah.
like we go through stages in our life. So do you
We like
think
different things, especially me. My like
your tastes are
style
always
changes.
changing?
It's always changing.
Okay, not changing. It's always evolving
Evolving.
because it has matured and matured and matured into such a stylish, like, glamazon. No.
It's all over the place though.
I know that's where you used to be. You used to be Miss Glamour, and now you've gotten more subdued and neutrals and like
Yeah.
so it evolves. So do you think your tattoo placement?
I don't think I would want an outplacement underage. I also like. I mean, it would even when I'm overage. I would the most maybe a finger,
But on your
maybe
hands,
maybe a forearm.
I mean sleeves are okay.
I wouldn't do a sleeve.
Well, I mean like anywhere on the sleeve
Yeah,
is okay.
maybe a finger. I don't know,
So to me in my mind,
but hidden though, like in between.
okay, I know more people have them nowadays. That is more common.
It's more acceptable, somewhat.
It is acceptable. It's more common now than it was when I was growing up and what I
Was told.
would see.
Yeah.
Because you think of someone professional, you don't see them all tatted up.
Yeah.
I'm not against tattoos. I love tattoos and I'm totally for you getting them.
When I'm overage, so I can be at fault.
No. So that you can know that you made the right decision for you.
Yeah.
Because I don't want your future self to think back and how did my mom let me get these tattoos young?
Well,
How
I
did
mean, for my first ever tattoo, it's definitely gonna be hidden.
what I mean
It's gonna be for me.
so in my mind, like no face tattoos.
Oh, no.
And when you talk about sleeves, like anything past the sleeves on your hands, like if you're in a professional setting, yes, it's changing now.
I think I would do a wrist one.
Yeah.
Yeah, a small little wrist one. And I would do maybe. I don't know. I've thought about the hand tattoos and I still don't know where I stand.
I think it should be a no for the hand. But that's my brain telling myself professionals.
Yeah, you've worked in a professional setting.
Because I worked in a professional settings, you know, tattoos on where you could see them had to be covered up with a band-aid and
Oh, yeah. I actually just found out that's real.
yeah,
I didn't know that.
because in a professional setting, that's what you are expected to
Follow.
yeah, that's how you're expected to present yourself.
Yeah.
In a professional way, tattoos on exposed places should not be
Out in the open.
out in the open. Doesn't mean you can have them.
Imagine you just like you have a sleeve, but you can't show it at work, so they put your arm in like a cast thingy, but not like a cast.
No, my love, you
But
just
like-
wear a long sleeve shirt.
Oh, wait, you're right.
Could you imagine they make you wear a cast because
No,
you
not
have...
a cast, but like an arm brace.
Oh, an arm brace to
Like
hide.
like the things that you like put your hand on and they like rest and it's like a hammock for your arm.
Oh my gosh. Could you imagine?
And then they like someone like drops something and then you catch it with that hand and they're like, "Oh my god, you're fixed."
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle.
Okay, so can we agree that... Well, wait, well, why do you want them so young, though?
I feel like it's a nice way to express yourself.
Okay, I get that. So, you know, I'm all supportive for your tattoos
Yeah.
and your piercings.
You know I won't go crazy.
Well, that's... I don't know. That's what I hope you...
Oh. I'm not gonna go crazy.
But I just want you to make sure you get them when you have made that decision for yourself
Mm-hmm.
in a mature mind. So that's why I think you shouldn't get them so young because they are permanent.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think you should get married so young because it's permanent.
It definitely.
And that's why you shouldn't have babies so young because they are permanent. This podcast is funded by buymeacoffee.com/twistofviolet.
With a membership, you will have access to exclusive content, behind the scenes, and a bonus video podcast a month.
Speaking about babies, how babies are made is a very important topic that we have talked about. So we're going to share that a little bit with you guys. So, losing your V card young. Do you think you should make that kind of permanent choice young?
Yes, but I think you have to be really secure and know and trust, and there's a lot of details that go into the person, but you have to really trust that person. You're trusting that person with your V card. So there has to be a lot of thought into it. You can't just lose it just to lose it. And like seem cool and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's not cool to lose your V card young.
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Do you think it doesn't matter?
I mean, it matters who you lose it to. I don't think age should be a problem. Okay, obviously you draw the line at some point, but I don't think
So like late teens.
Yeah, there's no problem with that. I don't see a problem with it at all.
So like,
Because you don't. It's not like you get a reward for holding on to it so long.
well, no, but you also don't want to just give it to anybody.
But that's what I mean. It does matter who you lose it to, but it doesn't matter the age as long as you're appropriate. Like it should.
Like closer to adulthood?
Yeah, like
18,
17 and up?
17 and up. Whew, that's okay.
Relief.
Well, kind of, but I mean, it's still terrifying to think. I mean,
Did you lose it young?
yeah, kind of. So I was your age when I lost it.
My age.
I was a 15-year-old.
You little youngling and your little crazy mind.
I definitely regret losing it that young, and I definitely regret who I lost it to and the circumstances that followed after and all the relationship after that person, because once people know that you've lost that card,
Yeah.
they expect you
To do something with them or
Yeah.
share something.
Yep.
There's expectations after you.
Those
So.
expectations. Once you lose your V card, even with that person, or let me back that up, because once you start getting physical with a person in your teens, they want to progress more and more to the next step and to the next step until you lose your V card.
Yeah.
And then once you lose your
slowly
V card,
starts.
yeah, it starts off slow.
Ungrateful.
That is definitely
A word.
yeah, that's a whole other conversation we can definitely have going into all that, but
Yeah.
if we're talking about making the decision young, I definitely regret exposing myself to that type of world, because the relationships that I had that followed that also expected that.
Well, did you feel like you had to?
Yeah, because I got well, you did it with him. Why aren't you going to do it with me?
Mm.
Like,
Yeah.
you don't have your V card anymore, so why can't
Like,
you
why
do
does it
this with me?
matter?
Yeah.
Dang, they expect you to have no self-respect.
Yeah. And you fall into those relationships where you want to please the other person in the relationship, so you give them what they want.
Exactly, so they don't leave.
Yes.
And that's
Because you think, well, if I don't progress in what we're doing,
then he's just gonna go and find someone else. Or
exactly.
oh, that's a struggle.
And that was so unhealthy. So unhealthy. So that's where my mindset, when I think back of the age that I lost it, my life situation that I put myself in, I was not very, I was safe, but I didn't put myself in safe scenarios, as in locations and,
Environments.
environments. That part was not safe. And I was still in school. So, uh, you know, I made the choice to skip school to go off and, do things. And that going back to that mindset, it all goes to the same thing. They were expecting it. So if I didn't, then they would go off and do it with somebody else. But I wasn't mature enough to realize that that was unhealthy.
Yeah.
Because if I could go back in my mind and tell myself at my age, you know, at 15, don't do this, I I really wish I could, but it's a whole,
It depends on the person. It really does.
yeah. But at the time, I thought I was good to go. Like, I thought I was with a safe person. I thought I was in a good relationship. Even with everything that was happening, I thought it was a good relationship.
Yeah.
Because you convince yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the unhealthy part.
So, not until in hindsight, after the fact, that you realize it's not a healthy scenario, it's not a healthy relationship, that's when everything kind of, oh, well, all those red flags that were waving in my face, I just thought it was the wind.
The red flags are standing right there.
Oh boy.
So, after all this, what is your takeaway?
My takeaway? Wow. Okay, so my takeaway with our conversation on making permanent choices too young and everything that we talked about, babies, marriage, and tattoos, and the V card, I think that as much as I can advise you, that I think ultimately you're going to make the decision you think is best for you.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah.
I don't think anyone will ever listen to people
Every word their
telling
mother
them,
said.
yeah, if I tell you don't do this, you're not going to not do it just because I'm telling you. You're going to
Yeah.
do something because you don't think you should do it. So I think the best thing I can do is just advise you on my experiences and then have you make the best decision for you. And
Yeah.
hopefully, with my advice, you will do it not in a naive perception, but in
Like,
an
oh, I'm just gonna
informed,
do it because you told me not to.
yeah. So, after all this that we talked about, making these permanent decisions too young, what was your takeaway?
Um, I should make decisions for me and not because other people expect those decisions. And not falling under society's umbrella of you have to do this because, well, actually, they don't even give you an explanation.
No.
No, you're just forced to do those things. So just not falling under there of like the whole mom and wife thing is
Like, if
definitely what
you
I took
do those
away.
things, you want to do it for you,
Exactly.
not
Not
be-
because society tells me to.
not because anyone expects you to. Just you want to do them for you.
Exactly.
That's a good takeaway.
So I really enjoyed this conversation with you.
I really did too. I think there is still a lot more we can talk about those
Definitely
topics
can.
in another episode.
Definitely. You
There-
actually can vote for the next episode on our Instagram.
Ooh, we did do a polling this last time, and y'all picked this topic of making permanent choices too young.
Yes.
So make sure you stay tuned in our Instagram for our next episode's topic, because y'all will get to choose.
Yes.
We appreciate all y'all's input, all our love that y'all show on our Instagram and TikTok, and where else are we?
We're everywhere.
We're YouTube, we're Spotify, and please don't forget, we want to do our video episode.
Yes.
We want to do our first video episode, but we want to be able to share some of the things that y'all connected with. So if you can please share your stories and how you connected with our podcast at our email, whatwouldshethink podcast
gmail.com.
Ooh, smooth. Don't forget to email those stories, and we will, tell your story and share everyone's story on our video podcast that we'll be releasing for our members at buymeapizza.com/twistofviolet. There is a membership there that helps fund this podcast. So if you are interested in helping support the dream of this podcast, please give a thought to that membership.
Yes. We will be back with a brand new episode next Wednesday.
Thank y'all for listening.
Bye.
Bye. This podcast is funded by buymeacoffee.com/twistofviolet.
With a membership, you will have access to exclusive content, behind the scenes, and a bonus video podcast a month.
The podcast theme song is composed by Philip Tamez.